When was the last time you did absolutely nothing? Not scrolled, not planned, not listened to anything, just nothing. If you can't remember, that's the problem. We live in a world that treats stillness like laziness and silence like wasted time. But tonight, I want to tell you something that both the Buddha and modern neuroscience agree on. Your brain does its most important work when you stop trying, not when you push harder, not when you optimize, when you stop completely. This is the beginning of Arc 3, the quiet powers. And the first power is one the world forgot to teach you, the power of doing nothing. In 2001, neuroscientist Marcus Rachel discovered something unexpected. He noticed that when people in brain scanners were told to rest, to think about nothing in particular, their brains didn't go quiet. A specific network lit up. He called it the default mode network, and it was more active during rest than during focused tasks. What was it doing? Processing memories, making sense of experiences, connecting ideas that seemed unrelated, building your sense of self. The brain wasn't idling. It was doing deep work, the kind that can only happen when the conscious mind gets out of the way. Every time you fill silence with noise, you interrupt this process. The Buddha discovered this 25 centuries earlier through direct experience. He called it samadhi, deep concentration, deep stillness, a state where the mind is not grasping, not rejecting, not doing anything at all, just resting in awareness. He described levels of this stillness called jhana. In the first jhana, thinking is still present, but quiet. By the deeper jhanas, even thought dissolves. What remains? A mind that is perfectly clear, perfectly calm, perfectly awake, not unconscious, not zoned out. The opposite, more conscious than you've ever been during your busiest day. The Buddha said, "This state isn't supernatural, it's natural. We've just buried it under noise." Here's what modern culture gets dangerously wrong. We've confused productivity with value. If you're not doing something, you're wasting time. If you're resting, you should be working. If you're working, you should be working harder. Psychologist Alex Sujung Kim Pang wrote about this in his research on deliberate rest. He found that history's most creative minds, Darwin, Einstein, Wolff, worked only 4 to 5 hours a day. The rest of the time, walking, napping, sitting, doing nothing. Not because they were lazy, but because they understood that insight doesn't come from grinding, it comes from space. The Buddha structured monastic life the same way. Walking meditation, sitting meditation, silence, space. The entire schedule was designed around doing less, not more. There's a Zen story about a student who went to a master and said, "I have no peace. Please pacify my mind." The master said, "Show me this mind, and I will pacify it." The student searched and searched, and finally said, "I can't find it." The master smiled. "There, I have pacified it. The point isn't clever wordplay. The point is that the restlessness you feel, the urge to always be doing, fixing, achieving, isn't a real thing you're carrying. It's a habit, a reflex, and the moment you stop feeding it even for a breath, it begins to dissolve on its own. Neuroscience has a term for what happens when we never rest: cognitive overload. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and focus, has a limited daily budget. Every task, every notification, every micro-decision drains it. By evening, the budget is spent. That's why you feel foggy, irritable, unable to think clearly at night. The Buddha called this restlessness and worry udahaka kukuka, one of the 5 hindrances to clarity, and his prescription was not to try harder. His prescription was to sit down, breathe, and stop. Let the mud settle. Let the water clear on its own. You cannot force clarity. You can only stop disturbing it. Let's practice this right now, just for a moment. Stop listening for meaning. Stop waiting for the next sentence. Just hear the sound of these words as sound. Nothing to do with them, nothing to fix. Take one breath. Don't make it deep. Don't make it special. Just a normal breath. Now in the pause between breathing out and breathing in, notice that tiny gap, that sliver of silence, that space where nothing is happening. That space is samadhi whispering. It's always there, under the noise, under the doing, under the endless trying. You don't have to build it, just stop covering it up. The world will tell you tomorrow that you need to do more, achieve more, be more. It will dress up restlessness as ambition and exhaustion as dedication. But the Buddha and your own brain know the truth. The deepest clarity comes from stopping. The greatest ideas arrive in silence. The strongest version of you is the one that knows when to be still. Tonight, do nothing. Don't plan tomorrow. Don't review today. Don't even try to sleep. Just lie here. Let the world turn without your help. It will manage. It always does. Sleep well. Good night.